I'm a certified nursing assistant for Bear Mountain Nursing Home in West Springfield, Massachusetts. I was performing before I did drag. Karaoke, I would go all over. They went to the karaoke bar and they saw me. And they're like, you need to be around your own people. And I wasn't sure what they meant because I'd never been around gays, you know. I'm from the Bible Belt down south. So I didn't know what I was, you know. Back then everything was cut and dry, so.
You weren't out as transgender at that time?
No. I didn't know what it was, even though I was wearing makeup, and back then it was ask and don't tell, and people looked the other way because, you know, they just didn't want to deal with that. It was 1992 when I came out, but I've always been performing in some aspect. But androgynous, you know, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what drag was, you know. But boy, did they enlighten me.
Can you tell me just a little bit what it was like to be a girl of color back then?
It honestly wasn't, like, certain places, they didn't want you to do certain music. And I never understood that. They wanted me to do bubblegummy stuff, not R&B. But I ended up trickling it where I could do what I wanted to do because that wasn't going to work with me. But they would jam to it. So I just didn't understand it, you know. But unfortunately, it's still like that today. If you're a DJ, they don't want you to play too much of that. You could sneak a song in every now and then. I found that when you work like certain places, you couldn't get bookings now unless you were a pageant girl. And I thought that was stupid. So I got into pageantry just to get bookings. And first time I didn't do that good. I was dead last. But heaven helped me. I didn't have an evening gown. I put a cocktail dress on. And I was dead last. And then after that, I started watching the pageantry tapes, and I had to learn, just like everybody else did.
And now, how many titles you have? 26
titles, including one lifetime title for Miss Northampton, I think it's Miss Northampton for life, you know. And I was going to go for a title in Virginia, but I don't think they're going to have any pageantry first until after the new year.
And why is that? Tell the people why.
Because of the coronavirus. You know, that corona. It doesn't make sense to do it because people don't have the money. And, you know, one thing about it is with pageantry, you know, I make sure my bills are paid first, my rent and stuff. No need to have a pageantry and have an eviction notice on your door. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 200.
200 even?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I told you.
Okay. How do you feel like everything's changed now with social media and reality television and stuff?
Back then we didn't have YouTube. People would look forward to coming to the shows to see the numbers. I liked that they didn't have it back then because, in a way, it would have picked up all my mistakes too, and all the stuff that people, you know, take for granted. You know, I'm like, no one wants to see me. And then all of a sudden, after Facebook, I'd start an Instagram and Snapchat. I started wanting to take pictures because that was a way of marketing what I wanted to bring out to the public. But I was a chat line person. I loved the chat line.
It's explain to them what the chat line is.
Chat line is when you called, and my handle was Black Barbie. But I stopped doing it because at that time they had a serial killer killing the girls. And I'd be like, hi, I'm Black Barbie. And you get all this calls coming in. But I didn't realize how dangerous it was too. You know, I was dumb and gullible, and I had them to come to my house, and that wasn't a good call, you know.
So someone was attacking trans women of color and stuff?
Yeah, they killed a couple of people. You know, so after that I said, nope, not for me.
It's terrible. This is DJ Ephraim Adamz in Hartford, Connecticut, at an area called Dutch Point. This is where Rita Hester grew up. Her death inspired a national memorial in the queer community to honor those who are victims of anti-transgender violence. Her killer was never found or convicted. I wanted to come out here because this was a black girl who was killed, and I'm black. You're not gonna find much information out there if you Google Rita and her connection to Hartford. We've been memorializing victims of anti-transgender violence for 25 years. And the only information about most of these girls, who are mainly black trans women, is how they died, right? We show up every year to these memorials, sad, with our heads down, candles lit. People are sad, people cry, and then they go home, and that's it. What can we do to push the conversation forward? This year is the 25th anniversary of Transgender Day of Remembrance. Just wanted to come out here and reflect on trans remembrance, reflect on my own biases in regards to trans folks and how I view gender. This is Black history. These are black and brown bodies. I'm black and brown, and this is important to me. So if I could just get a few people to show up to an event that I'm having. This is the flyer. Rita Hester grew up in Dutch Point of Hartford, Connecticut. She attended Buckley High School. Her murder in 1998 remains unsolved and sparked the first Transgender Day of Remembrance. Right now I'm outside of Buckley High School, where Rita Hester attended. As you can see, it's being reconstructed, but every day I pass by this building on my way to work, being reminded of trans lives. I've been in contact with Rita Hester's family to ensure that I get their blessing. A nephew and two sisters of Rita.
Boston is home, but this is where she grew up. So I just wanted to read a poem that Rita wrote the year that she was lost. Look to me, my family, and do not despair, for I am with you when you are lost and when you are in fear. I see the battles that you fight with only a slim chance to win. The world around you oblivious to your hurt. The world around you immersed in sin. I see the tears overwhelming in your eyes. I feel your pain. I sense your sorrow. I know today feels bitter and grim, but look for me tomorrow. I am there in your hearts, in the shallows of your soul. I am there in your innocence, and there when you are old. Look to me, my children, and know that I care. Know I am a force that will always be near. Be strong, my beautiful family. Never let your spirit bend. This is not your final destiny, for in the light awaits a friend. Find peace and solace in this life, and throughout your hardships cope. For in the end, the final end, you'll be with me once again. In the Eternal Portrait of Hope by Rita Hester.
And it was someone that we all knew, that I've seen in the bar before. That's the thing that made it so hurtful.
The attacker?
The attacker was someone that was in the bar, that I've seen in the bar a couple of times. And I'm not one for public displays of affection, but I make guys take me out publicly because a lot of times I think the things with trans murders, when they feel like they're being called out or found out, that's when they resort to violence. And I'm not an expert on that, but that's what I think, you know. A lot of these guys, they do something, then they regret it after they do it. And then they try to make like they didn't know, and then they snap and they kill these girls. my opinion does not represent anybody. That's just my opinion.
I'm happy that we have made strides in our community, but we need to have more. We have laws to stop what's going on, but until people take it upon themselves to police their friends, their family, letting them know that those jokes aren't jokes anymore. Okay, they tend to lessen what people are doing to our Black and brown community. There should be no more babies on that wall.
Tell it.
There should be no more babies on that wall. Most of those children have not passed 40 years old. Okay, I'm pushing 60. And then people look at me as an elder. I'm not that old, goddamn it. I'm just still here. And because I'm here, I speak out. Because I'm here, I do art. Because I'm here, I make myself known. So anyone who comes after me knows you can make it to this age. We can do it, but we just have to protect our babies.
Thank you, Bubblicious. One more time for Bubblicious, please.
My name is Bubblicious, and I go by she. A friend of mine back then, I was working at a place called Michael's Arts and Crafts, and I was performing in drag, but I lived in I was dressing as a boy. And my friend came up to me and he said, "Why is it that you are so different when you're not dressed?" Like my whole mannerisms, and I wasn't as happy. And it just, when he said that to me, something clicked in my head. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to let go. And I let go. I mean, at that point, I gave away I got rid of all the boy clothes. From that day on, I never wore any boy clothes ever again.
Ooh.
I mean, it wasn't so much that it was a straight into trans, but it was more or less, I could wear women's clothing and walk around during the day and feel comfortable. Because it was weird, because back then, for like a large percentage of my teenage years, most people assumed I was a girl anyway. I mean, I was thick. I had a big butt. I was thick. Family-wise, it took people a minute, because as I tell people nowadays, it's like, as a trans person, you've been like dealing and mulling over feelings internally for years. So by the time that you get comfortable enough to say, okay, this is it, you've had time to come to grips with that. You have to give the people on the outside the same amount of time to come to grip with that. I mean, I see too many times where people are like, well, oh, you don't love me because you need to accept me as I am. It's like, sweetheart, it doesn't happen that easy. A lot of people have to deal with like their own issues and their own insecurities about looking at their child living a lifestyle that they don't understand. So you have to either help them come to the point where they can understand you, or you have to show them and educate them on like things that, you know, show them that you can like be self-sufficient, be, you know, self-aware, and live a productive lifestyle. So, you know, they're not worried about you. Because a lot of times, that's basically it. A lot of parents are scared because they don't know what their child's going to turn out to be.
You know, I was estranged from my family for a long time because they seemed like they were more accepting of certain people in my family that were kind of like scummy. But they weren't accepting of the choices that I made. And I said, I don't care if you accept me, just respect me.
This is my auntie, Savannah Rivers. We met about 10 years ago at a gay bar, and over the years we became chosen family. The reason we became close is because just because it's a queer space doesn't always mean that Black people are welcome. So we became friends over time, and she's a mentor of mine, and she has inspired me a lot. So It hurts me to say that back in November of 2023, Savannah was in a fatal car accident. I'm thankful that Savannah wasn't lost to murder, because that could have been her story. But I did lose Savannah to anti-trans sentiment and anti-trans violence in a different way in the queer community and in the Black community. It's something that we call cultural genocide. Savannah was from the Bible Belt in the South, and she was buried as a man. I attended the funeral, and had to sit there because there was nothing that I could legally do. So Savannah didn't have a will, and they put her in a suit because Savannah's been estranged from her family for 40 years, so they didn't acknowledge who Savannah was, and they published an obituary. And this was the manliest photo of Savannah that they could find to use for the obituary, of her doing her makeup backstage at an event. You'll see that it says Bradford Grant, January 27th, 1967. Deceased on January 26th, 2024. And in this obituary, there's nothing queer. Savannah Rose Rivers Amore. Savannah, assigned Bradford Grant at birth. Sex, male. Gender, woman. Lived unapologetically as a transvestite of her generation, a trans woman who dedicated herself to the craft of drag, advocacy, and dismantled barriers, long before terms like transgender were in modern use. She brought light, was intelligent, and comedic. A recurring joke Savannah said to me was that one day she'll find a nice man to buy her breasts. In the 90s, she featured on the, She featured on the Jerry Springer Show. She was an animal lover and cared for her cat Ivy that she rescued off the streets. Performing for over 35 years and a multiple pageant winner, Savannah has been a friend, chosen family, and a mentor to New England's queer community and regions around the nation. Savannah participated in charities, fundraisers, pride marches, and spent her free time coordinating shows at the local senior living centers that brought joy to patients in care. She embraced her full figure with elegant gowns, big hair, and sparkly stones. No audience could escape her fierce lip sync, which included nightlife, drag brunches, drag bingo, college campuses, and Drag Me to Church. During the COVID pandemic, Savannah kept Pride alive virtually. In Global Pride 2020 and New England's Virtual Pride, Savannah stood for Black equity and racial justice, and she inspired me beyond words. Okay? So, I've learned a valuable lesson here today, that it's my responsibility to have a will for myself, and at the next event for Trans Remembrance, I would like to get law professionals together to help my community.
Melanated people, I think, get that life is messy, and it's going to be messy. And nothing about Savannah's funeral was going to be beautiful for anyone, like from their family's point of view. And I'm in no way saying, hey, let's understand this and feel good about this, right? But I'm saying that this was going to be a very ugly, intense moment for everyone. You've got a family that's many states away that is doing everything in their power to pretend that what is isn't, right? How do we honor Savannah's soul forever? Like later on when it's time, how do we do that? Adding in this piece of, I think it's a lot of people's fear. After I die, then what? I'm allowed to live my life, then what? And if I'm going out and I'm working on legislation and I'm doing all of the stuff that there is now, and then a Savannah dies and that happens, I'm stuck with the fear that I can't affect that. I can't address that, right? Like that's a thing. So we go try to find other problems there because we can't accept that you can't do something about that.
My name's Carly Webb. Ephraim is a good friend. I see a lot of good friends here tonight. It is a blessing to have Rita Hester's family here, first and foremost. It is a blessing that you have kept her name alive as legislatures return to their duties in a month's time. There will be 390 pieces of legislation across 48 states in this country which will make discrimination against me and mine, and by an extension, all of our LGBTQ family in this country, legal. I find that shameful. I encourage everyone here tonight, vote. Not just vote, but organize. If there's someone you don't know, get a phone number. If there's someone that you haven't met, meet them.
Oh, let's get this good light. You want to get in the shower? Okay. Thank you. I see you. Come on. Thank you. I gotta get it while everybody's here.
Can I get in one?
Right.
Look who got here.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Have you had any more bits on?
Fellas, do you mind? This way. The light's coming from this way. Thank you. This is video. Come on. Thank you. Let me just come on out here. I'm coming. Okay. You don't mind, do you? Okay, gotcha. Oh, ain't your birthday coming around again? Oh, in April. It seemed longer ago than that. Gotcha. Yes, I am. Hello. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for coming. Oh, it's on camera? You remember me? Well, thank you. It's my pleasure. Fabulous. Look at, I feel like I'm at the Polo Club. What are you doing? Hey! All right, hey! I'm leaving that out. I know she's not that club.
Hi, Polo.
I'm glad you could come.
I'm glad I made it. How much did it? You know what I went through to get here.
Oh, good. Well, your art looks great. Your art looks amazing. What's going on? Hi. Thanks for coming. Thanks for having us.
Vamos, look out.
And then
I want to get
there's like 20, and maybe I was click. So you know you got
Me, auntie.
I posted that on my
The newspaper?
Hearing other stories like this, maybe that was her way of carrying out. How does it feel for you, a family member, to know that so many people are coming together?
You know, because back in the day, I'm like, oh, I have to blend in. And then someone told me, why blend in when you could stand out and stand up for something?
This is the transgender legacy flag that I've created. It recognizes the resilience that has been built off the bloodshed of black bodies.
Well, I love it. It's beautiful. Oh, shoot. I've never seen this. I love it.
I don't know if you know about Trans Remembrance, but one of the girls who inspired it, Rita Hester,
Yes.
she grew up in Hartford.
No way.
And she attended Buckley.
No way.
Right, so since it's the 25th anniversary, we're gonna do more of a tribute.
What I love about this is that let's talk about not only the transgender people, but specifically the black and brown transgender people.
People like to shy away from the truth, and I think I'm tired of that. And I think I love you a lot for everything that you do. Like, seriously. Make things be heard, yo. We gotta talk about it. Yeah, put it in the flag. Why is it not?
This needs to be added.
Yes.
Because when we think about like black and brown trans bodies, so like, nah, we need our own flag.
People don't like to see the world change. It just puts blackness at the center of it, pointing in. I don't see why not. They want the status quo to remain, and if society is supposed to be moving forward, then things have to change. Manifest destiny.
I was not aware of Hartford's tie, so the fact that we are able to do something like this and to work with you and to support your efforts so that people do understand what Hartford's role is in this particular movement, I think that is very important. It's good
All
stuff.
right, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ephraim.
Thank you.
All right. So they've made a Puerto Rican version of the trans flag, as this is not the first time discussion like this has been had.
Absolutely, why not? Because there's trans people in Boricua, so absolutely.
To Boricua.
Mm-hmm.
So is somebody trying to like
Bring awareness to trans issues in Puerto Rico.
Right, but are you the creator of this flag?
No, I'm not the creator of this flag. No.
Hi, happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. Look at here. We love him. Happy Pride to the world.
So metropolitan area, so more of like what we call it campo, which are areas that aren't as progressive as the city, as the metropolitan areas. They still have certain beliefs with regard to, you know, the LGBT population. They don't, you know, a man is supposed to be a man, and so I think that they definitely have a stronger opinion.
She's a trans woman.
Right.
Giving her bathroom problems.
Right, so you see all the hands over here with their Facebook, because everybody was pretty much recording it instead of helping her out after she was getting like harassed by the people. I'll have to look into the story a little bit more, but apparently somehow I think she was beaten and ultimately killed. And this was a tribute piece from Los Dominicas Bagan in Puerto Rico.
Oh, very nice.
This is a tribute piece for her.
We were discussing what was going to happen in the bathrooms at the high schools. What happened in the bathrooms at the high schools? We talked about necks. We didn't know that we were talking about necks. We had no clue which baby we were talking about.
You made this?
Yeah, I made that one. Okay. And so I brought you this one as a gift, so y'all can have it.
We gotta put one up at the Pride Center. Yeah, we can put one up, especially for like this month and this week. We can put it up.
Yeah, I love this.
Of what's going on.
And these pointing into it, yeah.
And put the black and brown at the center to center their lives.
Yeah.
And then it creates like this kind of hourglass shape.
Yes, I see it. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, legacy, past and present and future and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is cool. I love it.
And your name?
I'm Juan Carlos.
Right. You know, here at
New Haven Pride Center. How many times have you seen like a 16-year-old talking about I'm a grown-ass man or a grown-ass female and I can do what I want to do? But realistically, you still are dependent on other people. So I'm really happy now that I see a lot more programs that are open for youth now that they were never open, especially for teens of color back in the day. Instead of always trying to be fierce, try and be educated, you know, instead of trying to look, you know, so fly. How about teaching the younger generation how to do a checkbook, how to, you know, organize and get like rent payments, and how you get your job and stuff like, you know, how to survive. Yeah, how to survive. I mean, most kids out here don't know how to do it, don't know anything about going to get a bank account. And it's like, you know, just simple things like that. These kids need someone to like mentor them and stuff like that. My mom took a while, and it was like a while before she would call me she. And it was tense. It was very tense sometimes because, I mean, again, she had to get to the point where she was comfortable. And I understand that now. When it was happening, I couldn't wrap my head around it so much, but now I do. I was never put out in the street. I was never in no situations. I never had to deal with stuff like that.
But you knew others that were?
Oh, most definitely.
Going forward, we can create our wills. We can do this. There's always going to be people who what happened to Savannah that's always going to happen. So we've got to figure out how to navigate that and how to navigate a really ugly situation in the best way possible without causing more harm.
Because I tried to live the man life, and every single time I did, I would just feel so unhappy I had to go to therapy. So I'm just like, whatever floats your boat, long as you stay within the boundaries and you don't hurt anybody, it's fine with me. You know, I can't judge anybody, you know. That's not my job to do that. Some people, they judge, you know, and I said, God made us, so he knew what he was doing. I said, I feel like I'm just too fabulous to be in one gender. Yes, I do. I'm too fabulous to be in one gender, baby.